There was also one for this man, a 98-year-old Ukrainian Canadian who fought for Ukrainian independence against the Russians during the Second World War.
Hello everyone, Ace here, and today I'm doing a follow-up video on the topic of virtue signaling. Now, I've already made my opinions clear in the previous video on the topic titled Glory to Urine, which is to say that virtue signaling itself is inherently vapid and made by idiots that have absolutely zero knowledge on the subject matter that they are virtue signaling about. And as you could probably guess, that previous video was over the subject matter of Ukraine, because the people that virtue signal over Ukraine tend to know absolutely nothing about the country in question. And since that video uploaded, we managed to receive the greatest piece of proof ever with regards to this subject, proving further that I am completely correct on the nature of virtue signaling. This proof came courtesy of the Canadian Parliament, who, in a rush to show their support for Ukraine, decided to provide a standing ovation for a Ukrainian-born veteran of World War II. Now, I know what you're thinking, what's the problem with this? After all, there's nothing wrong with showing respect to a member of the greatest generation in human history, who personally fought to combat the greatest evil in human history. Yeah, about that. To be fair, I will say that you could indeed make the argument that he did indeed fight the greatest evil in human history. I just don't think the moral good of killing communists makes up for being a literal Nazi, the second greatest evil in human history and another example of far-left socialism. Though that is a contest that is hard won. The only important difference between a communist and a Nazi is that communists are never satisfied with murdering a mere 6 million. But getting back to the topic at hand, see, it turns out that the veteran that the entirety of the Canadian government was clapping for was an actual card-carrying veteran of the Waffen SS. Yes, you heard that correctly. Justin Blackface Trudeau led the entire Canadian government in clapping and cheering on an actual dyed-in-the-wool member of the SS. And the Canadian government did this to support the Ukrainian war effort by tying the experiences of that veteran to the Ukrainian people as a whole, saying that he represents them as a whole. That was the intent of the virtue signal. The actual effect, as you could probably guess, is going to be very, very different indeed. In fact, at this point, I would say that Justin Blackface Trudeau, in his sheer incompetence, has, with this action, at least somewhat sabotaged the war support that Ukraine has so far been receiving. In addition to that, the entirety of the Canadian government is quite rightly being run through the coals for very obvious reasons. They were actively cheering on a member of the Waffen SS after all. And of course, this is something that they were doing after spending several years claiming to be against Nazis. You know, right before they decided that it was potentially politically convenient to start cheering one of them on. So as you can see, this is a great example of what I was talking about in the previous video. Virtue signalers are ultimately people that have absolutely zero virtues. They claim to support others and their causes just in order to make themselves look and feel good. And this is ultimately highlighted by the fact that they put absolutely zero effort into their virtue signals, to the point they can't even be bothered to do the most basic of research before actually having an opinion on something. And ultimately, the end result is plain for absolutely everyone to see. This virtue signal that attempted to help the Ukrainian war effort is indeed instead sabotaging it. And the politicians that did it to make themselves look and feel good have instead been made to look like the absolute utter rank incompetence that they truly are. In fact, the only thing that I would classify as good news coming from this whole debacle is the fact that some of those idiots are starting to lose their jobs over it. So at least some of the dead wood of the Canadian government is being cleared out. Just sadly, not enough of it yet. Now, for those curious, I will of course be leaving links in the description below so you can check them out for yourself if you should so desire. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.